Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the F1 2020 My Team Career, episode number, I think this is 10 or 11. What it will say on the thumbnail and the title what episode this is, because at the moment in time I've forgotten. But yes, if you have missed the previous episodes, then I recommend you go and check it out. The series is starting to take place. We are trying to recover here at Hungary after our woeful time out at Britain, the last time out, which of course is really a bogey circuit for me. But yes, we're also aiming for 250 subscribers by the end of the year. We're currently only 15 away, so if you haven't yet subscribed, then please do. It massively helps me out. It's the big red button underneath the video. We're going to purchase some facilities more, a new aero spec, as I mentioned in the previous and the last episode, which will give us spec 1 on the aero side and unlock some more departments. We might go for a few more aero upgrades, although I'm not entirely sure whether we should also go for an engine facility upgrade, just to unlock that extra tier. Durability I think we're going to leave. It's going to take us a bit of a while anyway to get all the durability anyway, and we've got level 1 pretty much unlocked on all of that anyway, so we don't really need it. And we'll have on top of that the durability upgrades that we'll be getting from Renault, so that's really not what we're going to do. We've got a couple of days where I almost forgot to assign some activities again. That's just typical me. But we're not going to be. I'm renaming for this drag reduction upgrade, the streamlined suspension arms. Unfortunately, we don't have enough resource points to do it in this episode, so that will be done in the next episode for Belgium. It is episode 10. As we've got rain for the race, just wet weather at all is. Just no, we struggle in wet weather in driver career mode. We struggle when I can't remember where we had it wet weather. It might oh yes, it was Azerbaijan where we retired in not 20 seconds as it suggests there. But looking at the R&D chart, we've moved back ahead of Haas by about a nose hair in front of them, so pretty much got the same pace. We're looking to get ahead in front of Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri. I think we can with the performance we can, and then Renault and McLaren and Racing Point aren't too far away. Ferrari are now in front of Red Bull. Not that that matters anyway, because Mercedes have won all of the 9 Grand Prix so far, and this is one of Lewis Hamilton's favourite tracks, and I doubt that anybody else but him will actually be winning this race. So, but yes, focusing on our fight, I had to go with I went for a wet Sutter, which is sort of a mistake. I went for what was it, 810 wings as opposed to the usual 6.9 that I was running. So a bit more on the front. We could have. I did actually. I think we went with 610 actually. I think we just upped a few things, which sort of offset the car, and the pace wasn't really there, and we were only down in a pathetic P20. Russell half a second faster. That's really concerning. Ocon down here as well. That's not where he wants to be. Time for the race. Let's get this over with.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. The Hungaro Ring, it's like Monaco without the boats. 14 corners, 6 to the left and 8 to the right, and some very tricky corners to deal with. These rainy conditions out there aren't going to help either, so it's very likely we'll see a safety car or two during today's race. Now, Anthony Davidson, I wonder, might we be in for some early pit stops today for the midfield teams, all trying to put some pressure on or disrupting things for the leaders up front?
If you're in the middle of the pack, you got your own race to run. I don't think they're going to be thinking about causing trouble up front. However, closer to the head of the pack, don't be surprised to see some split strategies. If you're running second and third, for example, bringing one car in for an undercut while leaving the other one out there longer can put a lot of pressure on the leader and maybe force them into an error.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Vettel, Carlos Sainz, and Perez, Norris, Ricciardo, Stroll, and Valtteri Bottas. They've taken a grid penalty. Albon, Gasly, Daniel Kvyat, and Raikkonen, Giovinazzi, Magnussen, George Russell, and Esteban Ocon, Grosjean, De Vries, Latifi, and the owner driver rounds off the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
So I thought we might as well take a new engine penalty. It means that it's not really going to do much to us. We might, at this rate, 2 places. We're going to try and extend the wets until it becomes dry again, until it's time for intermediates, as you can see. Although I'm not entirely sure how long that wet period is, but we won't be doing the 2 stops, so hopefully it will come just as the people are doing their first off, and then we can gain a whole load of positions as 5 lights come on, and away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. And the RMH Hess Titanic has moved off at about the about the same pace as a snail. As we're going into turn 1, I can't absolutely see anything. Dive it down the inside. Got to be careful against the Haas. We're going to try and squeeze the people out. I can't see exactly who is on my left, as we're getting very close now to Giovinazzi and Russell. Giovinazzi there, very slow into that corner, and now he's getting even slower, and we're going to pause and move up the inside into the hairpin. Russell cuts us off. We have to take a little bit more braking speed, excuse me. A little bit of contact there with Giovinazzi, no damage fortunately for us. Move out into P16, and we're already making spaces. Round the outside now of the hairpin, of the first hairpin. Go on. I don't think I've never ever made a move around this corner, and I don't think anyone has ever made a move around that corner. We just got so much more grip than the AI compared to what we had in qualifying, and we're already pressurising Kimi Raikkonen, as there's a yellow flag there. I think Lance Stroll is out, and round the outside of Raikkonen there. There was contact there. I don't think there was anything with the front wing. I think Russell, though, is in for his first stop. I think he had suffered contact with it. Although, look at that, his front wing's actually intact, but yet they're replacing his front wing. I don't get that at all. So coming into the pits now, it's time for the intermediates. Only lap 7, which is concerning because it's getting drier. We've got to hope that the intermediates help us out, because we weren't really catching. After we got in front of Giovinazzi is Bottas. I'll have to take a look at Bottas. What happened to Bottas there in a moment. It looks like, I'm not sure what he was doing, double stacking, but nobody was there. 2.9 second stop. That's an average pit stop for 2019, but unfortunately don't get to improve. But here's what happened to, let's have a look at Valtteri Bottas. Well, it's just like he's thinking Lewis Hamilton. He's seeing things Bottas. He thinks Lewis is slowing him down as he's double stacking, but he's just stopped there. Fortunately, he's not actually in the way. Otherwise, if he was in somebody's pits box, if he was like a Williams, then there'd be absolute carnage. But fortunately, it's just Bottas. He's just going to stay there until he gets himself serviced. I mean, at this point, his race is already over. He might as well have retired by now, save the parts, and not bother coming out. It's not the team, it's him. He doesn't want to get serviced by the team, and eventually he does actually move into his pit stop about a lap later, but everybody else has lapped him. And that middle stint was so dull, nothing happened. We got in front of Gasly, we did the undercut on Gasly when we went from wets to inters. That put us in 11th place thanks to Bottas's little mishaps, but Raikkonen had some sort of a mechanical issue, nothing to do with his front wing. His front wing was intact and just basically slowed everybody out, and is some 17.5 seconds behind us now. Kvyat has pulled out the pace that Gasly probably usually has in the Grand Prix, and has managed to pull out a 11.5 second gap now. Gasly, we've extended the gap to Gasly as Antonio Giovinazzi is now out of this Grand Prix with a mechanical failure. No bonfire at the end of his lap, as our teammate Russell's been overtaken by Williams. So we jump to the penultimate, 3 laps to go, lap 32. Bottas is sort of starting to unlap himself. He's got the fastest lap as well, which basically takes a point away from Hamilton, and he's down the inside of Gasly on the following lap 33. He's got to remember though, he's got blue flag, so he doesn't want to get a penalty there, but he goes round the outside of Gasly and turns the inside and moves up another position. As we move to the last lap of the Grand Prix, these tyres have pretty much gone off the cliff. Kvyat's opened the gap to now 14 seconds. Norris up to 19 seconds, so pretty much almost a pit stop away. Bottas is just caught up to us now, so it's taken him a couple of laps to get catch from me to Gasly. Gasly as well has been catching me, but not enough time to finish the race, and Grosjean's got himself and Raikkonen, but he's still some 17.5 seconds behind. 11th place, no points. I'm gutted. It's worse than last time out, because we did so well on the start not to hit anybody. We got ourselves in a good position, but we couldn't make forwards on the AlphaTauri. 11 places up, but not to be today. We'll have to wait for next time. Hopefully we can do better. At Belgium, it's also a good track for me. Russell did a 4-stop, which I don't get. Again, he and De Vries were the only 2 people that really got caught out. Russell's pace was better than mine as well, so that's definitely something to be concerned about. But yes, we've dropped to P9 now. I think that's a couple of races now since we last scored points as well, which we're starting to slide down the table. There's a lot of people that are close to us as well. So we need points ideally at the next race, Belgium, which is a good race for us. We've dropped to P7 now. McLaren having a good race as well. AlphaTauri though are closing in, but then it's a long way back to Alfa Romeo, so we should retain P8.
Performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that.
Not really. I'd love to get some points. We're not going to commentate on those rivals, because no way we're going to end up getting any of them.
Did you struggle to get through all that traffic today?
Well, we fiddled around with it and graced ourselves through the
You're
corners.
beating all expectations. Would you say we all underestimated you?
Well, we tried our best. Made the wet setup today. Didn't happen in qualifying, but it did in the race. But it wasn't as bad as I thought. I think we just needed more pace against Kvyat, really, is what I'm going to say there. If we had more pace against Kvyat, then we would have got points. Norris and Albon weren't that far up the road, so we just need to invest in the R&D. We've got another 2.4 million, which I may or may not invest in the engine department or the aero department. I haven't quite decided. We've also got 1,700, so we'll be able to go for a major upgrade. I was thinking about going for fabrication, but since I recorded this video, I might be going just for a quality control upgrade on the engine side, which is $2 million, which we'll have, and then we'll have some money up. We might be able to afford a bit more actually, considering what's coming in, and that will probably see us through to the end of having spec 1 on the powertrain as well, and then we can make a few of those minor engine upgrades as well, which may help us at tracks like Brazil, especially in the USA, and Mexico as well is also on the calendar for this short season as well. So that's where we've got to think about it. In terms of the Sashi side, we might go for a weight redistribution upgrade afterwards, and then that major weight reduction upgrade as well. We've got these 3 aero upgrades, which will try and get done at some point. So we've got quite a few upgrades there that we can do it on the aero side and the Sashi side as well, although there is one that's been sort of got spec 2, but I'm not really concerned about that. Tyre wear is not really a concern either, so probably get those 3 upgrades done and then maybe call it that because we're running out of races. We've only got 6 episodes left. We definitely have enough engines to survive that, because we took a load of extra parts, of course, by starting 20 lower down. So we should have enough engine parts to last the end of the season now. And obviously, if we add any more buyer qualifiers, then we can just take more as well. The gearbox isn't worth it, really. But there we go. Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he's dominating this season. It's what we feared that has actually really happened in real life. But we thought that Mercedes would win every race, and then it turns out that Red Bull and AlphaTauri won one race each. If Lewis Hamilton doesn't win this career mode and in real life, then something seriously wrong has happened. Bottas only did get the fastest lap, but obviously doesn't get points because he only finished in 20th. And really, the Red Bull and Ferraris really need to get it. Also, Ricciardo's been comfortably ahead of Albon all this season, so that just shows to show you that even in the game, Albon really needs to pick up on his performances. But yes, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you have enjoyed, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, see more episodes of the F1 My Team video career modes as when they come out, usually on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and also other weekly F1 gaming content. Until the next VRC time, take care, enjoy your day, and goodbye.